How are you doing? Back again. Welcome back. Welcome to everybody. Everyone out in Balbriggan and down in Waterford and Wexford and up in Sligo, Mayo, and then obviously out in Germany and Spain, Portugal, Belgium, and all the other places that I'm forgetting. Get straight into it. A few requests again, and then a few other ones that I just pulled out of a folder. This first tune is a song called Yarmouth Town, and it's a little town on the Norfolk coast. But it used to be a massive herring fishery sort of place, but it's kind of been taken over now by other towns. It's not such an important port anymore. But anyway, this little song is about the oldest profession in the world, which most of you will know of. And this little woman comes up with a pretty enterprising way to make a few pounds. But I'll give it a go. Yarmouth Town. In Yarmouth town there lived a man, and he had a little tavern down by the strand. The landlord had a daughter fair, pretty little thing with the golden hair. Now won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Well then one day a sailor man, he asked the daughter for her hand. Why should I marry you, she said, I have all I want without being wed. Now won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? But if with me you would like to linger, I'll tie a piece of string all around me finger, and as you pass by, just pull on the string. I'll come down and I'll let you in. Now won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? So the very same night the sailor man, he went to the tavern down by the strand, and he went round the back and he pulled on the string. She came down and she let him in. Now won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Well, he'd never seen such a sight before, 'cause the string on her finger was all that she wore. Again he went and he pulled on the string. She pulled back the blanket and she let him in. Now won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? So the sailor stayed the whole night through, and early in the morning he went back to his crew. Told them all about the maiden fair, the plump little thing with the golden hair. Now won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Well, the story, it soon got around, and the very next night in Yarmouth town there was 15 sailors pulling on the string. She came down and she let them all in. Now won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? So to all good men that to Yarmouth go, if you see a little thing with her hair hung low, all you gotta do is pull on the string. She'll come down and she'll let you in. Now won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Won't you come down, won't you come down, won't you come down to Yarmouth town? Nice one. I don't know who wrote this next one. There's loads of different versions of it. It's a song called Tipping It Up to Nancy. I know it from Singing of Christy Moore. I think he may have done it with Moving Hearts rather than on his own. But anyway, yeah, it's written back in the early 19th century. There's different versions in England, Scotland, even over in America. I think there's different versions of this. But simply tells the story of a woman who essentially wants to bump off her husband so that she can get with another man, and he manages to bump her off instead. But yeah, good little song. So But there been a woman in our town, a woman you ought to know well. She dearly loved her husband and another man twice as well. Now with me right to Finnegan area, me tip to Finnick the wall. Me right to Finnegan area, we're tipping it up to Nancy. She went down to the chemist shop, some remedies for to buy. Have you anything in your chemist shop to make me husband blind? Now with me right to Finnegan area, me tip Finnick the wall. With me right to Finnegan area, we're tipping it up to Nancy. I give him eggs and marrow-bones and make him suck them all. And before he has the last one sucked, he won't see you at all. Now with me right to Finnegan area, we tip to Finnick the wall. With me right to Finnegan area, we're tipping it up to Nancy. Well, she gave him eggs and marrow-bones and made him suck them all. And before he had the last one sucked, he couldn't see the wall. Now with me right to Finnegan area, me tip Finnick the wall. With me right to Finnegan area, we're tipping it up to Nancy. Now in this world I cannot see, sure here I cannot stay. I'd rather go and drown myself, come on, says she, I'll show you the way. Me right to Finnegan area, we tip to Finnick the wall. With me right to Finnegan area, we're tipping it up to Nancy. She led him to the riverbank and she led him to the brim. But sly enough of Martin, 'twas him that pushed her in. Now with me right to Finnegan area, we tip to Finnick the wall. With me right to Finnegan area, we're tipping it up to Nancy. How loudly she did scream, how loudly she did bawl. Shut up with that, you silly old fool, I cannot see you at all. Me right to Finnegan area, me tip to Finnick the wall. With me right to Finnegan area, we're tipping it up to Nancy. Now sucking eggs and marrow-bones might make an old man blind, but if you're trying to drown him, you must sneak up close behind. Now with me right to Finnegan area, me tip to Finnick the wall. With me right to Finnegan area, we're tipping it up to Nancy. Now there's 9 kids in me family, and none of them are me own. I wish to God that every man would come and claim his rightful own. Me right to Finnegan area, me tip to Finnick the wall. With me right to Finnegan area, we're tipping it up to Nancy. Yeah, there's a little moral in the story there.
Jay, Johnny, and Mark are here.
Oh yeah, how's it going, lads? Welcome. Oh, very warm today. Warm and cloudy. This next song was written by a man called Jim Page. He's in. He ended up giving it to, well, basically it's to do with nuclear power. And over in Washington, there was this, he was living over there, and there was this politician who was mad for the nuclear power and hated environmentalists. So there was this local plant, and essentially every so often it would leak into the rivers and this, that, and the other for treating waste. So one of the days then she says, okay, we'll close down the plant. So she closed down the plant, and then the local hospitals, cancer hospital, came out and says, oh, well, we can no longer treat cancer patients because we can't get rid of the waste. So she obviously won her little battle there. But this fella, anyway, Jim Page, came over to Ireland back in the 70s, I think 79. And he hooked up with Christy and Moving Hearts. I think it might have been, or Planksty. But he gave them this tune. And at the time, there was a big thing in Ireland because obviously around that time we were looking at possibly doing nuclear power down in Carnsore Point. So anyway, he ended up going around to a few different festivals and playing this tune, and it became a bit of a winner. But anyone who knows it will know it from Christy. I'll give it a go. There's a lot of words in it. They dropped a bomb in 45 to end the world war. No one had ever seen such a terrible sight before, and the world looked on with eyes wide to see where it might lead. politics of power, they passed around the seed. It was a time to remember. Yeah, we never can forget. They were playing Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Russian roulette. They arose like the saviors of our modern human race, with radiation halos hung about their face, with the key to the sure cure, the treatment of our ills. A hot shot of cobalt and a pocket full of pills, speaking always of the enemy who lurked across the sea while they crept in among us like a carrier disease. Deep down inside the bunkers of the concrete and the lead, Einstein's disciples working steadily ahead, making heavy metal power plants to fire the city lights. All you can hear in the underground is the humming through the night, and the walls of tight security circle all around where they spill out their poison and bury it in the ground. Holed up inside the harbours, hidden secretly away, warheads and submarines, they wait to make their play. The military masterminds improve on their designs. Soldiers get all doped up and stumble through the lines, and the spills into the rivers get carried out by the tides. Well, they call this security, but we're not satisfied. And our statesmen and leaders with their politicians pay, quick to heed the hand that feeds, they're careful what they say. They call out experts to assure us, to wave their magic wands. This is the power of the future, and the future marches on. And they call in all their favours, all their political gains, while the spills fill the rivers and settle in the plains. Well, they've caused the death of millions, that's their stock in trade. They will be afflicted by this fallout that they've made. They've sealed their own inevitable doom, and it must surely come. Not even the moons of Jupiter will be far enough away to run when this earth that they've assaulted begins to turn around, and the unavoidable gravity sucks them to the ground. Well, I know the minds behind them, they are riddled full of holes, not to be trusted with their hands at the controls. Their eyesight it is twisted by the glory of their careers. The heat, praise, of flattery is music to their ears. Oh, to listen to them talk about how it hasn't happened yet, like playing Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Russian roulette. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Russian roulette. Jim Page. Yeah, Christy does a great version of that. I think he still does it every so often. But it's mad to think a song like that, which is 50 years old, still has a lot of relevance today. But anyway. This little song is, believe it or not, from Tommy Mackem. Him and the Clancys, obviously. A lot of you would know the Clancys and Tommy Mackem, but Tommy actually wrote a good few tunes. But this is a song that a lot of people would probably presume is one of those it's been around forever songs. But he wrote this in 1967, a song called "The Four Green Fields," and he was kind of driving through no man's land up around between the border, between the Republic and Northern Ireland, and he saw an old lady looking after a few cattle. And he just kind of noticed that she was oblivious to the old political boundaries. And as far as she was concerned, the land was older than the arguments, and she didn't care what was on a map. But it's a nice little song. What did I have? Said the final woman. What did I have? This fine old woman did say, I had 4 green fields and each one was a jewel. But strangers came and tried to take them from me. I had 5 strong sons, and they fought to save my jewels. They fought and they died, and that was my grief, said she. Long time ago, said if I know woman, long time ago, this fine old woman did say there was war and death, plundering and pillage, my children starved by mountain, valley and stream, and their wailing cries, they shook the very heavens, and my four green fields ran red with their blood, said she. What have I now? Said if I know woman, what have I now? This proud old woman did say, I have 4 green fields, and one of them's in bondage in strangers' hands, who tried to take it from me. But my sons have sons as brave as were their fathers, and my 4 green fields will bloom once again, said she. And my 4 green fields will bloom once again, said she. Tommy Mackham got there in the end.
Johnny is giving you the tip that you have to drink the Guinness a bit faster, then you'll be more.
Yeah, no, yeah. This is the thing, you know. I started the pints a bit late, so I'm not warmed up. This next little tune, I actually sang this at my wedding.
Austria is here as well. Big
Yeah.
hello to Olivia and Pascal.
Yeah. How's it going, guys? Always welcome. The more, the merrier. So yeah, a little song called "My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose," written by Robert Burns, very famous Scottish poet. He back in 1870s, sorry, but he collected about 300 songs, old Scottish songs that people would have sang without them ever having been written down. So he went and kind of spent about 7 years collecting all these songs. Anyway, he did some book which essentially has 300 of these oral tradition songs. But he also wrote a lot of stuff. So he kind of wrote this tune based on a couple of other old, earlier poems. And he kind of took them and turned them into this nice little song. It's a lovely song. So, here we go. my love, she's like the red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love, she's like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. It's fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love you still, my dear, till all the seas run dry. Till all the seas run dry, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun. Oh, and I would love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. It's fare thee well, my own true love. It's fare thee well a while, but I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 miles. Fury's do a nice version of that. Finbar Fury. Absolutely beautiful version he does. Or at least he did back in the days.
Your dad helped us pick it for the wedding?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Anyway, something a little lighter mood. This little tune was written by a man called Pat Cooksey. I don't know. He wrote it in the 60s and gave it to the Dubliners. But a little song called The Sick Note. The Dubliners don't really put music behind it. Actually, I think sometimes they do, but mostly they kind of talk it. But it was in a Reader's Digest. It was a story in a Reader's Digest back in the 1930s. And anyway, Cooksey kind of took the story and turned it into a song. It's pretty cool. It's all about a lad, I suppose, writing a note to his boss about not coming into work. Dear sir, I write this note to you to tell you of me plight, and at the time of writing, I'm not a pretty sight. Me body is all black and blue, me face a deathly grey, and I write this note to say why Paddy's not at work today. While working on the 14th floor, some bricks I had to clear. Now to throw them down from such a height was not a good idea. The foreman wasn't very pleased, he being an awkward sod. He said I'd have to cart them down the ladders in me hod. Now clearing out these bricks by hand, it was so very slow. So I hoisted up a barrel and secured the rope below. But in me haste to do the job, I was too blind to see that a barrel full of building bricks was heavier than me. So then when I untied the rope, the barrel fell like lead, and clinging tightly to the rope, I started up instead. Well, I shot up like a rocket, till to my dismay I found that halfway up I met the bloody barrel coming down. But the barrel broke me shoulder as to the ground it sped, and when I reached the top I banged the pulley with me head. Well, I clung on tight, though numbed with shock to this almighty blow, and the barrel spilled out half the bricks 14 floors below. Now when these bricks had fallen from the barrel to the floor, I then outweighed the barrel and so started down once more. Still clinging tightly to the rope, I sped towards the ground, and I landed on the broken bricks that were scattered all around. Well, I lay there groaning on the ground, I thought I'd passed the worst, when the barrel hit the pulley wheel and then the bottom burst. A shower of bricks rained down on me, I hadn't got a hope. As I lay there moaning on the ground, I let go the bloody rope. The barrel being heavier, it started down once more and landed right across me as I lay there on the floor. Well, it broke 3 ribs in my left arm, and I can only say that I hope you'll understand why Paddy's not at work today. Very good. Ina was trying to make me laugh there in the background. And yeah, she was succeeding. All right. This little tune, it's another one from Christie, written by a man called Colin Gallagher. Don't know a lot about him, but I do know he wrote loads of tunes. An Irish lad. He lives over in LA, I believe. But he's written a good few tunes for the Clancys and a couple for Christie and even the Dubliners and that. But he's one of these guys no one seems to know anything about. I did a good bit of research on him and I couldn't find much at all. But seemingly he's written a whole. Maybe he just wants it that way. But either way, it's a very cool tune. A song called "The Reel in the Flickering Light," and it's kind of self-explanatory, but it's supposedly about a guy who had a bit of a dream, and this is the dream. He's written a few songs like this, kind of these enchanting little songs. But anyway, see what you think of it anyway. As I was walking home one evening, I know this takes some believing, I met a group of creatures with the strangest looking features. A poor old dog and a worm and a weed and a fine old pigeon, yes indeed. Daddy Longlegs jumped up sprightly and danced to the reel in the flickering light. Oh, round we go, heel to the toe. Daddy Longlegs jumped up sprightly and danced to the reel in the flickering light. On his tin and wispy spindles, he was deft and he was nimble. His eyes were scientific, and his dancing was terrific. And the rats and the worms, they made a din, and the nettles in the corner took it in. The God says, aye, tonight's the night, and we'll dance to the reel in the flickering light. Oh, round we go, heel to the toe. God says, aye, tonight's the night, and we'll dance to the reel in the flickering light. Then he looked at me directly, with a gaze that could dissect me. And he asked me in a whisper, have you got any sisters? Good God Almighty, says I to him, what sort of a man do you think I am? I've only one, she's not your type, and she wouldn't dance a reel in the flickering light. Oh, round we go, heel to the toe. I've only one, she's not your type, and she wouldn't dance a reel in the flickering light. Says he, does she come from another planet? Has she got a bee in her bonnet? Does she do her daily duties? She'd never know we might be suited. And the rats and the worms began to laugh, and some of them started shuffling off. We're going to have some fun tonight, getting ready for the reel in the flickering light. Oh, round we go, heel to the toe. Going to have some fun tonight, getting ready for the reel in the flickering light. I could see he had no scruples when I looked into his pupils. They were purple or magenta, like a statue Jordan lent. Well, I said I'd get her right away. Good man, says he, now don't delay. We're going to have some fun tonight. And he flipped his legs in the flickering light. All round we go, heel to the toe. Going to have some fun tonight. And he flipped his legs in the flickering light. Then up stepped a red carnation, and they gave her an ovation. She was warm and enchanting as she slowly started dancing. Well, the bright-tailed pigeon peeled his eye, and the nettles and the weeds began to sigh. Daddy Longlegs says, my oh my, are we ready for the reel in the flickering light? All round we go, heel to the toe. Daddy Longlegs says, my oh my, are we ready for the reel in the flickering light? She was gentle, she was charming, and they heard her call her darling. He was graceful as a whisper on his delicate legs of silver. And the rats and the worms were still as mice, and the poor old pigeon said, that's nice. A shimmering veil of the lovely bride, and we danced to the reel in the flickering light. All round we go, heel to the toe. A shimmering veil of the lovely bride, and we danced to the reel in the flickering light. Yay! That's one of Ina's favourites. Yeah. Mary's there as well. How are you, Mary? Welcome everyone. I hope the weather's a bit nicer down in Portugal.
Sean is with Mark and Rachel as well.
Oh, right. How are you doing, Shawnee? Long time no see. And this is another little request. This is a good little tune by the Clancys. They recorded it back in the 50s, but sort of one of them little crazy tunes. It's basically about a couple of lads who go visiting a few different boozers and they eat them out of house and home. But it's a bit of a good crack song. It's supposed to get a little bit faster as it goes along, so we'll see if I can keep up with it, but we'll give it a go. It's called Johnny McEldoo. There was Johnny McEldoo and McGee and me and a couple or two or three went on a spree one day. We had a bob or two which we knew how to blew, and the beer and whiskey flew and we all felt great. We visited McCann's, McLeman's, Humpty Dan's. We then went into Swan's, our stomachs for to pack. We ordered out the feed, which indeed we did need, and we finished it with speed, but we still felt slack. Johnny McEldoo turned as blue as a Jew, and a plate of Irish stew he soon put out to sight. He shouted out Encore with a roar for some more that he never felt before, such a keen appetite. He ordered eggs and ham, bread and jam, what a cram. But him we couldn't ram, though we tried our level best. For everything we brought, cold or hot, mattered not. Went down him like a shot, but he still stood the test. We swallowed tripe and lard, by the yard we got scarred. We thought it would go hard when the waiter brought the bill. We told him to give o'er, but we swore he could lower twice as much again and more before he had his fill. He nearly sucked a trough full of broth, said McGrath. He'll devour the tablecloth if you don't haul him in. When the waiter brought the charge, McEldoo felt so large, he began to scowl and barge, and his blood went on fire. He began to curse and swear, tear his hair in despair. To finish the affair, called the shopman a liar. Shopman he drew out, and no doubt he did clout McEldoo. He kicked about like an old football. He tattered all his clothes, broke his rose. I suppose he would have killed him with a few blows in no time at all. McEldoo began to howl and to growl by me soul. Threw an empty bowl at the shopkeeper's head. It struck poor Mickey Flynn, till the skin off his chin, and eruptions they begin, and we all fought and bled. Peelers did arrive, man alive, 4 or 5. At us they made a drive for the salt to march away. We paid for all the meat that we ate, still a trait, and went home to ruminate on the spree that day. Yeah, it's a good little number. Written by a guy called John Baird. But Clancy's are the one. The Clancy's are the ones that do it. This is another request by my uncle. I've played this a few times, but it's a classic, so I don't mind playing it again. My uncle Mihal, how are you, Mihal? And all the curlies that are out there. But it was his 80th birthday yesterday, so we had a nice big Zoom. We had a nice big Zoom chat, the whole lot of us. Yeah, so I said I'd belt out this tune for him anyway. So it's the band played Waltzing Matilda by Eric Bogle again. Ina, while I'm doing this, maybe you'll get this. Me throat will need a bit of wetting after it. Nice one. She's the best. She's the best. Lads are always coming up to me saying, Rory, how did you get a wife like that? My woman would never get me a beer. And I just say it was me. Good looks and charm, you know? So, here we go. Eric Bogle, yeah. Same fella. Eric Bogle wrote Willie McBride and all of that, so great songwriter. When I was a young man, I carried my pack, and I lived a free life all over. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, I waltzed my Matilda all over. Then in 1915, me country said, son, it's time you stopped rambling, 'cause there's work to be done. So they gave me a tin hat and they gave me a gun, and they marched me away to the war. And the band played Waltzing Matilda when the ship pulled away from the quay. In the midst of the tears, flag waving cheers, we sailed off for Gallipoli. It's well I remember that terrible day. Our blood stained the sand and the water, and how in that hell that they called Silver Bay, we were butchered like lambs at the slaughter. Johnny Turk, he was ready, he'd primed himself well. He rained us with bullets and he showered us with shell, and in 5 minutes flat he'd blown us all to hell. Nearly blew us back home to Australia. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as we stopped to bury our slain. And we buried ours, and the Turks buried theirs, and it started all over again. Now those that were living did their best to survive in this mad world of blood, death and fire. And for 10 weary weeks I kept myself alive, while the corpses around me piled higher. Then a big Turkish shell knocked me arse overhead, and when I woke in me hospital bed and saw what it had done, Christ, I wished I was dead. Never knew there was worse things than dying. So no more I'll go waltzing Matilda all around the green bush far and near. For the hand, tent and pegs, a man needs 2 legs. No more waltzing Matilda for me. Well, they collected the wounded, the crippled and maimed, and they shipped us back home to Australia. The armless, the legless, the blind and insane, those proud wounded heroes of Subland. And when the ship pulled into Circular Quay, I looked at the place where my legs used to be, and thanked Christ there was nobody waiting for me to grieve and to mourn and to pity. And the band played Waltzing Matilda, and they carried us down the gangway, but nobody cheered, they just stood and stared, then turned their faces away. So now, every April, I sit on my porch and I watch the parade pass before me. I see me old comrades, how proudly they march, reliving their dreams of past glory. I see the old men, all twisted and torn, the tired old heroes from a forgotten war. And the young people ask me, what are they marching for? I ask myself the same question. And the band played Waltzing Matilda, and the old men still answer the call. And year after year, their numbers get fewer. Someday no one will march there at all. Waltzing Matilda, Waltzing Matilda, who'll come a-waltzing Matilda with me? And their ghosts may be heard as they march by the billabong. Who'll come a-waltzing Matilda with me? Eric Bogle. Yeah, happy birthday, Michal. That's for you. Always a pleasure to sing that song. That's a great tune. Probably the best anti-war song ever written. Yeah. So this next little tune is another request, actually. I've been asked to play this a million times, and I actually nearly never, ever play it, because I never really done a good job on it, and I still probably don't, but I'll give it a go anyway. It's a song called Raglan Road by Patrick Kavanagh, and he originally had a different name for it. It was called Dark-Haired Miriam Ran Away, and it was because he was in love. Kavanagh was in love with this woman. Sorry. Hilda Moriarty, and basically they done a line for a little while anyway, but he was 40 and she was 22. She gave an interview years later for RTE in the 80s, and she basically said, look, the reason the relationship didn't really last was mainly the age gap. But anyway, Kavanagh was absolutely besotted by her. He wrote a good few poems about her and everything, but anyway, after obviously they broke up, he wrote this one, Raglan Road, and he named it Dark-Haired Miriam Ran Away because Miriam was the name of the girlfriend of his brother, and he didn't want to put Hilda's name on it because of the embarrassment. But obviously, anyway, at a much later stage, Luke Kelly got his hands on it, I think, and made it famous. But beautiful little song. Give it a go. on Raglan Road. Of an autumn day I saw her first and knew that her dark hair would weave a snare that I might one day rue. I saw the danger and I passed along the enchanted way. And I said, let grief be a fallen leaf at the dawning of the day. On Grafton Street in November we tripped lightly along the ledge of a deep ravine where can be seen the worth of passion play. The Queen of Hearts still making tarts, and I not making hay. Oh, I loved too much, and by such and such is happiness thrown away. I gave her gifts of the mind, I gave her the secret sign that's known to the artists who have known the true gods of sand and stone. And her words intent without stint, I gave her poems to say, with her own name there and her own dark hair, like clouds over fields of May. On a quiet street where all ghosts meet, I see her walking now, and away from me so hurriedly my reason must allow, and that I have loved not as I should, a creature made of clay. When the angels their clay lose his wings at the dawn of day. Patrick Kavanagh. Nice tune. Yeah, Luke Kelly, I suppose, does the best version without a shadow of a doubt. This is another little tune called, it's called here, I've written it down as Encore, but it's called When I First Met Willie Nelson. I think that's the full title of it. Christy Moore wrote this song, and back in 1984, Willie Nelson was coming to visit Ireland, so he came over and he played a few places, but Christy wrote this song for him. So the original song had a different. He's kind of got two versions of it. One which is has got the first verse. It's a lot about Willie Nelson, and then the second one is sort of his more normal version of the song, which is he recalled it Encore, which is the version I'm going to do. But it's a great little tune. I added a few little words in here and there into it myself, just to mess around. Anyway, singing this about 20 years. When I first heard Tommy McAman, Nicolan sees me future, it was sealed. I was bitten by the ballad bug ever since, the wound it hasn't healed. When I got my first guitar, my fingers bled until I learned to play a tune. I pulled on me Aaron sweater, wrote me my goodbye letter, started throwing shapes up in O'Donoghue's. I've played every lounge in Ireland, from Dingle right up to Donegal. I've sung Nancy Spain on stages where no other ballad singers go at all. From the rising sun in Brownstown to the Blue Lagoon with the river in Sligo town. McGowan's up in Niski, the Barras in Clonakilty, Kilcummin Harbour and Bessie's down the road. And if I get an encore, I go home feeling like a king. It's a two-way situation. I love to play my old guitar, and I get a lot of pleasure when I sing. I've played cabaret in Bundoran, rebel songs for Father Horan, and I once stood in for Johnny McElvoy. From Berlin to San Francisco, I've been on before the disco, lashing out the far green fields of Athenry. Be it Tusker, Bodnamona, the Liffey side, or down the strawberry beds, I received my education in the lounges of this nation. After 25 years I'm doing well. And if I get an encore, I go home feeling like a king. It's a two-way situation. I love to play my old guitar, and I get a lot of pleasure when I sing. I was playing in the meeting place when half the special branch came through the door. They were looking for an outlaw, but they never found who they were looking for. They started listening to me gig and they hung around till after the show. If I ever need a taxi plate or a massage at special rate, the boys in blue, they told me where to go. And if I get an encore, I go home feeling like a king. It's a two-way situation. Love to play my old guitar, and I get a lot of pleasure when I sing. And if I get an encore, I go home feeling like a king. It's a two-way situation. Love to play my old guitar, and I get a lot of pleasure when I sing. Great little tune. I remember playing that down in Clare back in 2000 with Johnny and the boys when we were apprentices down at the Willie Clancy Festival. It was a great little, even earlier than that actually, it was probably late 90s. Anyway, with that, I'm going to leave it on this one. This last tune, in the years I was gigging years ago, this would have always been the last song I played after any gig, and it still is, but I haven't played it yet in any of these sessions, so I said I'd throw it in there. It's a song called The Parting Glass, but it's like it's as old anyway as it's minimum 400 years old, probably even older. Well, it is older, but it's originally about well, they don't know for sure, but they reckon it was originally a Scottish tune, and it was written about a reaver. And a reaver was what they used to, the name they used to put on guys who used to do a bit of banditry and robbing on the Scottish-English border. And that area was not a massive area, but it was a savagely dangerous area. Pretty much nobody went in from both sides. But the reavers, in the end, anyway, a lot of them, to solve the problem, the King of England decided, right, we'll round up as many of these guys, these bandits, as possible. And many of them were sent to Ulster for the Ulster plantations. So we don't mind a bit of that. But the original song, at least the one that's closest to this, which is what this was probably based upon, is a song called Armstrong's Good Night. And there's 3 verses in the Parting Glass, but there's a fourth song. There's a fourth verse, and I have it written actually on the back, but I'm not going to sing that. You just have to find that one out yourself. Or else come to the pub with me some night, and I'll sing the full thing for you. But anyway, we'll give this a go. Oh, of all the money that e'er I spent, I've spent it in good company. And all the harm that e'er I did, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for a want of wit, memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass, good night and joy be with you all. If I had money enough to spend, and leisure time for to sit a while, there is a fair maid in the town that sorely has my heart beguiled. Her rosy cheeks and ruby lips, I own she has my heart enthralled. So fill to me the parting glass, good night and joy be with you all. Oh, of all the comrades that e'er I had, sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they do wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I will gently rise and I'll softly call, good night and joy be with you all. I will gently rise and I'll softly call, good night and joy be with you all. Yeah, good stuff. So I see you all again in 2 weeks, I suppose. I'm going to do, in 2 weeks, I'm going to kind of do my last one for a while, because we're planning the Great Escape. And probably, for a couple of months anyway, in the summer, we'll be out of here. Hopefully, thank God. So, so what I'll do is on the next one, I might do a little bit of a longer one if you're interested. And I might do a sort of, kind of, a bit of a best of, you know? And so, all the good few of the tunes that maybe were requested by various people and anything like that. So if you have any, just bang me in WhatsApps or anything like that, or texts, and if you've any, or even throw it out on the chat there. But we'll try and do something like that. So we might make it a bit longer and a bit more crack, and there won't, it'll be more songs that people have been into. But thanks once again, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And see you at the next one. Bye.